Hey, it's your tech admin here, and as you can see, I've been kind of busy here lately. I had my buddy help me build these cabinets here to go under this existing set of cabinets. So we've been busy putting those together, and then I sanded and painted them with the help of my girlfriend, and got the hardware installed, all the pulls and the handles and everything. Got the trim put on down there at the bottom, all that good stuff. All we need now is the countertop, and the only reason I don't have that yet is because I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to go ahead and try to find something that matches my existing countertops, which are kind of these old style wooden doodads here, or if I just want to go ahead and get all new countertops. That way everything will be certain to absolutely match. And obviously the argument on one side is money. The argument on the other side is I'll never be able to find something that perfectly matches this, at least not from current manufacturers, because I think this kind of wooden style here it's just not very popular anymore, so they don't really tend to make it. But either way, eventually I'm going to have me some new cabinets. I also went ahead and installed this outlet right here. I just daisy chained it off of this this one down here, so it just ran a line into the house up into the wall, and then put that there. And that's because once this is installed, I'm going to go ahead and move my microwave and my toaster oven over onto this countertop so they can have their own dedicated space. So that was the whole idea behind that. But this isn't the point of this video. The actual point is this computer right here. So this is a computer I built, maybe a year and a half ago, and I built it on the smallest budget I've ever built a brand new machine, and that was about $350. So it's skipped in a few places. As you can see, this is a really cheap Logisys case. It's one of the cheapest cases I could find that came with a somewhat decent power supply, and that's kind of what I was aiming for. But the reason this computer's here is because the hard drive died in it. Now this is my dad's security camera server, so it stores and serves up all of the videos that his IP security cameras capture. And since the drive has died, and it actually wasn't the video storage drive, thankfully, it was just the OS drive that died. But it didn't completely die. It just got to a point where Windows wouldn't boot anymore, and thankfully it didn't go full on tick of death dead. So hopefully what I'm planning to do is have a replacement drive here from Western Digital, and it is a refurbished drive just like the original drive was. And the only reason I went with another refurbished drive is because I went ahead and got Newegg's warranty to go with it. So it's a 1-year warranty, and it was like $3, something stupid cheap. And I decided, that would be a good route to take. You never can tell with these refurbished drives. You might get something good that lasts a long time, and you might get something that dies within a year. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and tear this machine open and take out this storage drive and pop in the new drive, and hopefully we can get the drive successfully cloned as long as nothing's been corrupted on the other drive, and then hopefully we'll be back in business fairly quickly. If not, we'll have to do a whole reinstallation of Windows and reconfigure the server. But in the end, it's not a big deal either way. It's just I'm really hoping it's going to go easy because I want to play some video games tonight. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get my keyboard and mouse and monitor out, and we'll get to work. Alright, I got my monitor, mouse, and keyboard all dug out, but I figured before I'd get started working on this, I'd go ahead and pop the side cover off and we'd take a look inside. So I don't remember the exact specifications of this machine. I'd really have to look them up or either check them once I get the machine back up and running. But what I do know is that it has a Intel Core i3 processor, a 250 gig OS drive, and a 1 terabyte video storage drive for the security videos. I think it has 4 gigs of RAM, I want to say. It's either 4 gigs or 8 gigs, and a very cheap NVIDIA graphics card. I just needed something that met the minimum requirements for the software that captures all the security camera video, and that's really about all I know. As you can see, I didn't do a whole lot of work on the cable management in here. I just kind of threw it together. The thing sits in a locked cabinet anyways, so that nobody can get to it, and it just kind of runs in silence. Doesn't even have a monitor hooked up to it most of the time. So really the aesthetics didn't matter a whole lot at all. So without much more to say, let's go ahead and swap that drive in and then see if we can get Clonezilla to boot up and clone it. Okay, so I have the new drive installed right here, and I pulled the old drive out and stacked it on top, and then I took the SATA and power from the data drive and just plugged it into the old hard drive. So now we are ready to boot it up and try to get this going. Alright, we are all connected up and running, and instead of getting my Clonezilla CD out, which is years old at this point, I decided to go ahead and create a bootable flash drive with Clonezilla on it. That way I would have the latest version. So here we are in the boot menu, so we're going to arrow down to our flash drive there and give it a boot. Hey, Clonezilla. Default settings, and we shall see if it boots. And this is what I was afraid of. I've had this work for me in the past, but I've also had it fail, and this time it has failed. Bad sectors, and it cannot clone the drive. So that means we're stuck doing a fresh install of Windows and building everything back from scratch. This is going to be a long night. Well, Clonezilla did manage to get at least some of the data across. Here's the dead drive here, and the new drive is still in the machine. And when we power it on, I've got the hiccups and it's driving me crazy. But when we power it on, we actually do get Windows bootloader. So at least the master boot record got copied. Oh god, these hiccups. At least the master boot record got copied, and it says it's preparing automatic repair, and then it flashes and says diagnosing, and then at one point it even said it was checking the drive for errors, but it always reboots and tries. Oh, there it goes, repairing disk errors, and then it just reboots. God, these hiccups. So, yep, still not that lucky. We're still gonna have to go ahead and reinstall Windows, unfortunately. Alright, we're making some progress on getting Windows installed here. I got rid of my hiccups, so that's good. And you gotta make sure on the screen you always go to customize settings. We don't want to use express settings because there's some stuff that you always want to turn off. Usually I turn all of this off. This thing does not do location. Don't want to do that, that. This one can be left on or off, it's not a big deal. I turned smart screen off even though Windows complains about it. Page prediction, we turn that off, and we definitely turn this one off because it will send updates to other PCs over the internet and on your local network, which just wastes bandwidth if you don't have any need for that. It could save bandwidth, I guess, by sending it to machines on your local network, but there's no, it only gives you one option. You can either turn it on and it sends updates to local computers and the computers over the internet. I mean, if they broke it out so you could turn just the local area network option on, then I would keep it on, but that's just not how they decide to do it. Alright, they said make it secure, so we're gonna make it secure. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause here, and I'll be back once I'm done setting this up. Well, like the absolute genius I am, I installed the wrong edition of Windows. So now I'm back to square one. I'm gonna have to reinstall it and make sure I install the correct edition this time. This is gonna be a long night. Alright, so I've actually managed to get it all done. I've got Windows 10 reinstalled. I've got the camera software installed and mostly set back up. Of course, there's some things I'll have to do once I get it back to my dad's house, like importing the cameras and tying up a few loose ends, but for the most part, it's ready to go. As you can see, I've got Windows 10 installed. It is Home Edition, but it doesn't really make a difference for what we're using it for, so that's just kind of what I went with originally. I was right, it does have just 4 gigs of RAM, and it's a Core i3 4160 at 3.6 gigahertz. That's a dual core processor with hyper-threading, so that's 4 logical cores. And if you're curious about how Windows 10 runs on 4 gigs of RAM, it's not bad, especially considering that this machine just kind of sits with the camera server application running all the time and not much else. It does really well. I don't think it would ever really need much more for what this machine's purpose is. And you can see a little look at the processor usage, which is obviously pretty low. Let me switch over to the RAM. As you can see, it's pretty steady, right around 30 to 35%. Not a whole lot of fluctuation there. And let me just take a look in Device Manager, and there's the graphics card. It's an NVIDIA GeForce GT 610. Like I said, it's not much. We just had to have something that met the requirements for the software, and I think the only requirement was really it had to be DirectX 11 compatible, which I believe that card was. So there you have it. The machine is repaired. There's the new drive sitting in the bay there, and everything will be right once again. And I know my dad's going to be happy to have his security cameras back. While I still have this machine in my possession, I may use it as a slave machine to clone some drives, because I have some drives that do need to be cloned over. I have a few larger drives that I'm wanting to put in my machine to replace some smaller storage drives that I have. So having this machine here to pop those drives into to do the cloning will make things a lot easier than having to put them into my machine at the same time, trying to fit them into my machine at the same time, because I have quite a few drives in there, and then trying to clone them that way and not get the drives mixed up and yada yada yada. It'll be easier just to use this this machine is kind of like a guinea pig to do it, and I may or may not make a video about that. If you don't see it, you know I didn't make a video. So anyway guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, take it easy. I am going to bed.